Hello everybody, this is me again. So this is the setup of the Hanoi scenario. The idea is basically quite simple. After the Cao Bang drive, which the Viet Minh won, they decided to come down from the highlands and go into the delta and try and take Hanoi, which is here. So what happened was the French started to entrench themselves, and as you can see here, you have very many French entrenched troops. You have a couple of single units here. This is a bit of a bigger stack, and basically they are trying to hold the delta. But as you can also see, the Viet Minh are encroaching upon them. You know, they've really made it to the south, and they're trying to basically go into the delta. Now, when you play this game, and this is me using my new tripod, so I hope that this is actually working. Let's see if I can actually see what I'm showing. Yeah, that looks okay. So basically, there are hardly any troops in the north west of the country, and nothing really is going on there. I think I've explained before that there is an issue with victory points, or how you get victory points, and one of them is by political objectives. Now there are two political objective markers. One is put into a particular city based on the scenario you're playing. In this particular scenario, it's in Hanoi, and you also have to choose, and this is the Viet Minh player who gets to do this, a second place where you want to have a political marker, and there are certain rules that you have to obey. It has to be in an FEF loyal community, which is at least 4 hexes away from any Viet Minh troops, or is held by, I think, 4 steps worth of French troops. Now I've chosen Nha Lo. Here it's 1, 2, 3, 4 easily away from the nearest Viet Minh troops, and it is also held by French troops, not by 4 steps worth of French troops, but it's still fine. Now the idea is that the French want to hold on to these 2 political objectives because they are counted towards the end of the game as a victory point. And one of these objectives is a rumor. So if you get this particular objective marker at the end of the game and not the other one, you're not getting any victory points. And the other one is the real political objective. Now, you don't know which is which. So what the Viet Minh are going to try is they're going to try and capture these political objectives. Now, it is quite unlikely that the Viet Minh will actually take Hanoi. Hanoi is entrenched, it's full of troops, it's the central place for the French, and they're going to do everything in their power to defend it. And also, as you can see, it's surrounded by other troops. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm probably going to bring everybody in here to really defend Hanoi and probably try and entrench them. But the Viet Minh have a very good chance of taking this one up here. So this will be my challenge, to move some of the troops over here, try and get these guys out of their trenches and capture and keep this particular place until the end of the game, so that I can get this political objective marker. But even if I do get it, it doesn't mean that it will give me any victory points as the Viet Minh player, because this could well be the rumor. I don't know. You play it face down and you have no idea. Well, I mean, you shouldn't spoil it for yourself. Again, another way of getting victory points is through making, as a Viet Minh player, of making the different cities and towns and communities of the lowlands and highlands loyal to you, and you basically do this by getting rid of any French presence in those particular areas. So for example, Pho Ly is actually at the moment loyal to the French because it's occupied by a French unit. If I get rid of this unit, and seeing as Pho Ly is a red place name, it becomes loyal to the Viet Minh straight away. You can also do the same in the Highlands. You just basically have to oust the troops that are there. And you don't even have to occupy it, you just have to clear it. And then as you pass through it, it becomes loyal to yourself. And also any empty community space that is in a Viet Minh zone of control becomes loyal to them immediately. So if I were to move Viet Minh up here, and I don't think you can see this, near Son La, basically if their zone of control extends to Son La becomes loyal to them. So I don't know if I'm going to do a complete playthrough, but what I want to do is I want you to see something else. So let's see if this works. Pretty unfamiliar with using this tripod. Okay, so up here, I'm gonna zoom in a little. You can see the month marker. We are in January 1951, and this up here, these are the reinforcements the French are going to get. And as you can see, even on their first turn, they're going to get all of these troops. Now, every time you bring one of these onto the board, the Viet Minh gain victory points. So it's a little bit like Panzergruppe Guderian, where the Russian player can bring in particular forces from the southwestern front, which is off the map, but you can bring them in. But if you do this, then you actually give victory points to your opponent. So now the question is this a good idea to bring them in? We will have to see if this is a good idea. So I'm just going to pan across again. So yeah, and also zoom out. Because, as you can see, there is already a lot going on here in the delta. And really what the French need to do is they need to pull back, regroup, and fortify these areas here and make sure that nobody gets into Hanoi. Additional troops are of course always good, but I think what is most important is to actually ensure that the troops that are already there are entrenched and secure all of these possibly Viet Minh loyal communities here, and also take the ones that are loyal and try and fortify them. So you would basically try to engage the Viet Minh in a holding pattern. So we'll see how this goes, and yeah, I'll be back.